Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Kyrix, and this is video 2 of Pony Fantasy 6. Now, as you can see, as I promised before, here is me after doing some grinding. Twilight and Apple Bloom are now both level 10. Now, it is not important for me to do this grinding because this game is not that difficult. Oh, and about the cough, I'm just getting over a cold, which is why this is taking so long to get out here. Anyway, the thing is, your party levels are determined to an extent, I'm sure there's a formula somewhere, by the levels of your other party members. So, if I had gone by when Apple Bloom was level 7 and Twilight was level 4, then Celestia would probably be in that range. Oh, by the way, spoiler alert, Edgar is Celestia. But yeah, now that I have them both at level 10, she will probably be in the level 10 to 12 range. Likewise, the next party members that I get will be in those ranges, so if you do all your grinding in this first area, it makes the rest of the game easier so that I have to spend less time grinding. It's a trade-off, you know? I could theoretically grind after each, right before getting each character, but I'm going to try to avoid doing that because, although technically even at level 80 or so, this game can get pretty hard because I have done that. I did the river trip where you just ride around all day and part of the next day and level everybody except Apple Bloom up. And the final boss still tore the crap out of me. So it's not like I can over-level in this particular version, but I'm going to try to avoid doing it anyway. Okay, now we are here. I didn't draw attention to it, but Figaro Castle is now Canterlot Castle. So like I said, big surprise who we're going to find here. Trade your treasures because well, I guess I'm not poor right now. I did do a lot of grinding. A lot more grinding than was probably necessary given where I ground. Okay. Yay, I got goodies. Now, to do the most important thing and hit the tool shop. If I were willing to go a sizable portion of the game without these, I could get them cheaper. But screw that, this game's going to be hard without these, especially since, well, I need them. So especially nothing, I need them, period. Look, there she is. It's the princess. The other princess. The beloved princess of Canterlot Castle. She has hypnotizing grace few ponies can resist. And she has a tail 1.5 miles long. I swear to Celestia, she could hide her chariot with her freaking tail if she wanted to. She reminds me of those old cartoons from the 70s where people with afros would just hide stuff in it. She could do that with her tail. Her tail is twice the length of her body. Great Celestia. Tell her to study. Now I just want to check something. This is really stupid, but I'm going to check it anyway. Okay, there is recently some kind of, I think it's through RPG Maker, a pony RPG with actual ponies instead of Anthrolish ponies like this. And I played a little bit of it, and I've been kind of holding off on it for... I guess it just got lost in the shuffle. Anyway, one stupid thing I noticed, and it's beyond stupid that I noticed this at all. If you notice here, when Twilight walks, her tail swishes. This is very noticeable in the first episode of the cartoon. One thing that annoyed me to no end is when Twilight in that game walks up, her tail doesn't move. It's a stupid thing to nitpick at it, but there it is. Now, I could explore this castle, but I'm going to be taking up enough of your time as it is. So, let's go to the part that actually needs to be done. Most of this castle is just fluff anyway, and it's fluff that we don't need to deal with right now. Come here. Yes, her wings are pretty. So are Twilight's, but we're not going to get into that in this one. And here comes Luna. With her glittery sparkle mane, just like her sister. You know what just now occurred to me? Cadance doesn't have one of those, the glittery sparkle manes. I know they're on a completely different level of power. She's more of a mortal-ish Alicorn. But, oh, by the way, props to the show. Alicorn is now a canon word. But, it just kind of amuses me that she's been around for a season now. Well, probably a season and a half, because they announced her midway through Season 2. And it just now occurred to me that Cadance does not have a glittery sparkle mane, except when she's in Crystal Pony mode. And that doesn't count, because that's a different kind of glittery sparkle mane. Speaking of which, it's only a cameo, but Pretty Pink Pony Princess is in fact in this game. And here she is. And they gave her a glittery sparkle mane. Could be because of her parents or her sister, but I think it was more of Hasbro's marketing decision, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, apparently it's Princess Celestia instead of Queen Celestia, because little girls are taught that queens are evil and princesses are good. I'm not kidding, that's really why it is. Of course, all you gotta do is hit up TV Tropes to find that out. Your castle is nice. Did she just give Discord the finger? That's what that animation looked like to me. Oh, speaking of which, at the time that this will go up, I have finished my Discord video and a little mini Twilight video for those of you who follow me for music videos instead of LPs, which is, let's face it, all of you. Chances are, if you're seeing this, then you're in the wrong place. My music videos are located elsewhere in the channel. Yes, self-deprecation. It'd be so much better if it weren't true. And yes, I literally hear John Delancey's voice involuntarily every time he speaks. I know I should be talking, but I'm just enjoying John Delancey's voice in my head reading these lines. Which, believe it or not, having John Delancey take up residence in your head to read off lines is not as expensive as you think. So if you're on a budget, don't worry about it. Consider it. It's useful. That's one thing. I know they only had so much to work with, but it really would have been nice if they could have incorporated the elements of harmony into this game somehow. That's one thing I wish they had hacked in, just original, is a relic or something, you know? I mean, they've already assigned things that are exclusive to certain characters, like, for example, Trixie, General Celis, who we've already covered, cannot use the Atma weapon, or whatever they call it here, probably Ultima weapon, even though that was the weapon that I used to give her in the other game. So it wouldn't take anything at all for Twilight to be given something called the Element of Magic, Applejack for the Element of Honesty, and whatnot. The New Lunar Republic. I suppose, being part of this fan base, I should know what that is in detail. All I know is it's just something the fans started, and I have no context because I don't read fan fictions. I basically follow art and comics occasionally, and I make music videos, but that's about as in-depth as I get into the fan base. Oh, and I buy the comics. Love the comics. Comics are good. Comics are getting dark, though. Any of you who've read issue 3 know what I'm talking about, and those that haven't, well, I just hope you're not a cat lover. But to give you a little gist, without getting too much of spoilers, we finally see what it looks like when changelings eat love, quote-unquote. And the thing I can describe it to most is it looks like when Shang Tsung drains a soul in Mortal Kombat. It is not pretty. I always wondered, was there a siren that went off? Did she smell smoke, or did she just randomly wake up? It seems my castle is on fire. How inconvenient. You know, that's gotta be some pretty intense fire, because the walls are made of stone and it's caught fire. And I think those doors are made of metal and they caught fire. So this is some pretty potent fire. This fire has to be magical. Either that or it's covered... Oh, I have controls. Forgot for a moment there that I actually have control over this scene. Yeah, some Let's Player I am. More like let's stare at the screen and make stupid comments, right? Wholesome be bad, we're about to do something awesome. It is too bad this animation only gets used this one part of the game. But then again, I suppose if we saw it constantly, it would look stupid, or it would drive you nuts. This is one of the more creative aspects of this game, is the fact that they have a submergible castle. And not only does it submerge, the walls move. They pull into the castle. They retract before it dives. If some of the writers for Friendship is Magic happen to be bored enough to watch my LP, Season 4, let's see Canterlot Castle retract into that mountain. Come on, you know you wanna. Bring me their horns. What about Apple Bloom? Do you care if Apple Bloom... What, you want her tail or something? You know, Discord, you really shouldn't be chasing Philly Tail. Now, let's do something awesome. Actually, before I do that, gotta trigger the scene. I think this is the only part in the game where this scene can actually play. Where everyone freaks out that Twilight can use magic. It's worth mentioning that Apple Bloom, during my grinding session, saw Twilight use magic over a dozen times, because I used it. But now... Ooh, what was that? I just thought before that fire spontaneously fell from the heavens. I didn't realize she conjured it with her horn. I love that they go into detail with magic fire, instant healing, magic. She did use magic. Yes, Whisper Moses. What are those armors? Because those are not the armor, sprites from the original game. I'm trying to figure out what they are. I should be following the dialogue and paying attention, but... I'm trying to figure out what those are. If I ever get viewers and... God, that's creepy! Anyway, if I ever get viewers and you people happen to know what those are, feel free to post them in the comments. I will be very grateful. Yay. Oh, Fee pointed this out in her LP. Notice that each of those ponies rides chocobos in a different fashion. Which is kind of cool. It would be cooler if we saw more scenes like this to see how each pony rode. But I think Fee said something about Celestia riding side saddle, which is kind of cool. It does amuse me to no end that the New Lunar Republic, as I understand it, is a Luna organization, basically to be contrary to Celestia's rule, and Celestia is a member of it. Which, given how quirky she is, wouldn't surprise me at all. She strikes me as the kind of ruler who, if Equestria were a democracy, she would be running and be a member of her opponent's staff. Without sabotaging them. I think that would amuse her to no end. I really hope this cough goes away by next time. I always thought of this as being Terra's theme. But apparently it's not. I found that out recently. The typical world map theme is apparently Terra's theme. Which, if you'll give me a second here. Incidentally, as I recall, if we go back, the castle will not be there. And I'm a little curious how he tells the people in the castle they're safe. Does he have a shovel? He must be quite devastated. Or not devastated, but quite, dedicated, that's the word. No, he'll be devastated after digging up that damn castle. But yeah, he must be quite dedicated if that's the case. I imagine they have some kind of external communication system. And he just talks to a scout or something, but... Oh! I just completely glossed over this, but, Celestia just gave me the Unicorn Esper. Which, ironically, I will get again later, but I won't have a double of it. Yes, this theme you hear right now is apparently Terra/Twilight Sparkle's theme. Which is stupid. I would have thought that song, the sad song we just heard, was. No. Whoops. Nope. That's what I get for using the control stick. Espers, Unicorn. Celestia needs magic. I will not be doing heavy magic grinding in the World of Balance. By the way, spoiler alert for those of you who don't know what Final Fantasy VI is. Halfway through the game, the world goes to hell. But, I will be saving my heavy magic grinding until then, because at least the last version of this I played had been tweaked, so that a certain enemy, the Cactrot, known in future games as a Cactar, spawns much more frequently, and instead of 10 magic points gives me like 100, so I instantly learn spells. So I'm only going to grind up the spells that I need, on the ponies I need them on, in the World of Balance. Right now that'll be simple healing spells, and a couple smaller low-end attack spells. Twilight and Celestia will probably be rather magically inclined, though. Simply because I tend to use Terra and Edgar excessively in my games. Though it's worth mentioning that these stand-ins for both Gau and Cyan in this game are amazingly playable now. By my standards, most people think they were playable before. Yeah, here's a neat game thing. Auto crossbow doesn't care what row I'm in, so back attack to your heart's content. Bye-bye now. Auto crossbow is so broken, and it stays that way. It really does. There is a reason that Edgar is indispensable, and basically, as I understand it, the standard party for Final Fantasy VI is Edgar, Terra, Sabin, and generally your choice of Celes or Locke. Just because of how overpowered those characters are. And let's not mince words, they are overpowered. And ironically, they're some of the first characters, they're like the first 5 characters you get in the game. Some people keep Locke and swap out Celes and Terra, but basically the first 5 characters you get are the ones you're going to use the most. I mean, everyone has their favorites, like Fie liked using the Setzer standing quite a bit. Or no, Fie? Who did Fie use? I think Fie used Cyan quite a bit. But when Super Genius did a blind run of this, I believe he used Setzer quite a bit. One of them did. I never cared for him myself. I thought he was kind of... Oh, you might notice that Celestia is healing. At first I thought this was a thing that had been coded into her because she's supposed to be an immortal alicorn. In fact, if you check her relics, she comes equipped with a healing band, which I believe used to be known as a cure ring, which casts regen on her. It is also worth mentioning, because I don't remember if I did last time, that regen does not exist in this game anymore. The spell is gone. In its place is Cure 4, which combines a more powerful Cure 3 with regen. And I could not be happier about that because I hated regen, and let's be honest, aside from Kieran, whoever used that spell. You know, you cast Kieran on the party, or you equip a cure ring, and that's that. Okay, now we're going to go to South Canterlot. And oh, look at that. It's a pink-haired yellow Pegasus mare. Now, I'm not giving any spoilers by saying that happens to be Fluttershy. And judging by that theme and who she is, you can guess that Fluttershy is in fact Shadow. Despite being wildly out of character, this game really makes it work, because neither one of them talks much. The stare. F-Shy. That's so cute. It also has the unintended consequence of making her a massive badass, because of the stuff that Shadow does. I think that came up like 6 or 7 times in Fie's video. She just kept yelling, "Fluttershy is a badass!" Fluttershy is one of the 2 even more broken characters in this game because of the simple fact that when you throw items, they are unspeakably powerful. When I first played this... Scootaloo! When I first played through this game, to get through the 8 dragons whose difficulty had been massively cranked up beyond reasonable levels. Let's see. Box poison. Prevent blind. We'll get into that in a minute. These are the ones we need. But the 8 dragons have had their difficulty massively cranked up. One of the ways I got around that was with Fluttershy and throwing stars. And throwing anything, to be perfectly honest. And of course, one of the more interesting... It helps if you equip the relics, you idiot. Jewel Band, Horseshoes, Jewel Band, Jewel Band. Some people don't like these. I like moving fast. One of the more common things of Final Fantasy, and it seems to have fallen away in recent games, is the fact that you can find hidden goodies everywhere. I used to literally check every single barrel and crate in every single town. The town, Nikke or whatever, that this town links to, is one that I had a field day with because there are boxes every... Get out of my way! I hate you! Because there's boxes everywhere. Ah, weapons upgrade. We needed this. 2 of these. 1 of these, and I have those. Four. And yes, I understand there is certain stat bonuses, but I generally just go with the optimum, because like I said, this game is not that hard. It's not overtly complicated to beat this game. You have to grind, of course, and it does take some effort. Some of the bosses can be tricky, especially in this version. Do I need any items? I mean, I know I need items, but do I need items? Let's see. I'm so used to playing this that I actually can go in underprepared. Don't need any of those, because I have things for them. Do need a couple of these. 5. Lots of these. No. Let's be honest, who in this game uses sleeping bags? Matter of fact, here, get rid of the ones I have. Don't need those things. They just take up space. Okay, so I got items, got weapons, got armor, got my relics. Why are you in my way? I know that, but why are you... I don't need to go there, but why are you in my way? Interesting. Wonder if that person was there in the original, too. Do I check this? I have. Okay, let's see here. Oops, get... Yep, got some goodies. I'm not gonna do that now. I'll save that for when I have to come back here again. Now, it's not exactly a huge surprise. Like most people, I was an idiot when I was a child, so I would make a whole other game of just checking things. Like, I would go down here to the docks and say I was a customs inspector and check everything, except this one is no fun because there's nothing to check. Dang it, get up there. There we go. Okay, that should be more or less done. Do that so that everything's in place. By the way, unless I am absolutely hurting for cash, you will never see me sell weapons, simply because you can throw weapons. Up! No! Idiot! Okay, up here. Now, I'm gonna say that I did attack, solely to show off the power of my new weapons, but I'm gonna level with you. I forgot that I have tools. Actually, what it really is I'm used to having this on memory. So that I can just hold down the button. I bet it's Apple Bloom. Apple Bloom's the smell. So here's the question, was it the smell of the tea? The smell of the flowers? The smell of the dishes, in which case something went horribly wrong? Or is she actually smelling her sister? Yes, Luna was here. Look, it's a chocolate Octavia. A Choctavia, if you will. Sadly, even though there are many, many, many Octavia sprites that we will see, we don't see any that is actually Octavia. The same goes for Big Mac. We'll see Big Mac in every single shop, but none are actually called Big Macintosh. I'm going to save here just for the heck of it. Don't worry, we're not starting... Yeah, see? Celestia is 2 levels above us. She would have been maybe level 9, so she gained a good 3 levels just because I ground. While I'm at it, let's check Celestia's spell progression. No! Idiot! Go away! There we go. So 2 more MP to learn Cure, and a lot for everything. Oh, she must have learned Fire on her own. Interesting, I didn't know she learned spells on her own. She doesn't have any item that teaches her Fire, I know that much. Now, it may have been necessary, I can't remember, for us to go to that house. But let's be honest, it's a free heal, and by then we might actually be hurting for health. Now, I suppose I can show off the other tools for you in a couple minutes, but all you need for 90% of the game is auto crossbow. Auto crossbow for multiple targets, drill for single targets, and there you go. But this game removes an object, which I believe is Flash, and gives you something amazingly useful. It turns Flash into Medkit, which gives Apple Bloom a full party heal. It starts off as a single heal, and it doesn't tell you, but you can multi-target the entire party for a pretty decent heal. I mean, I'd put it maybe on the level of Cure 2. Maybe Cure 3, depending. But it's a good thing, and it can get you through a lot of tough spots. Of course, when I played this game, I didn't know that, but I learned that from watching Fee's LP. So thank you, Fee. Incidentally, you also have her to thank for me making these videos in the first place, because when she made her Derp to the Past video, I, of course, was interested in doing LPs and asked, well, what are you using? And she recommended Fraps, which is now what I use. So, thank you again, Fee. I doubt you'll ever watch this to hear it, but thanks anyway. Oh, this, I guess I could call it a ROM hack. This, remake also has a couple other things taken out, like the Vanish glitch, which technically wasn't a glitch, it was a feature, but it was a feature that made the game entirely too easy at times. It turns out one of the things about Vanish is it makes it so that spells hit automatically. For example, some spells have a low hit rate, like Doom. Well, Vanish makes all physical attacks miss, but all magical attacks connect. And it had the effect of, there were a lot of enemies in this game that were not immune to Doom or X-Zone. But the spells had such a pitiful, accuracy rating. I'm gonna need to do something about that in a minute. They had such a pitiful accuracy rating that it really wasn't worth defending against them. And the Vanish spell... Oh no. The Vanish spell made it so that they could actually hit, so you could Doom / X-Zone 99% of the bosses. I think only the last boss was immune. Well, no, there were a couple others, but almost all of them were vulnerable to it. I have plenty of items, but I can cure everyone with that spell, so... Besides which, I'm coming up on a save / tent spot. So, no, there's the tent. So why waste additional items when I have magic that can take care of it, and I'm about to get all of my MP back anyway. Just for the heck of it, I'll show off the Bioblaster. Now, as you can see, Bioblaster, though it does poison enemies, doesn't hit nearly as hard as Auto Crossbow. And poison, being an actual elemental attribute, has enemies that actually heal off it, like were-rats, so it can be counterproductive at times, whereas Auto Crossbow is non-elemental and can't be guarded against. Now, Noise Blaster. This is another one that I never use. Oh, this is not going to be useful or anything, but Celestia's summon ability allows me to just pull an Esper more than once per battle. And I didn't go over it, but it was obvious. Noise Blaster confuses. And since I like my offense, I don't use it, ever. It does have some usefulness, though, because certain enemies, when confused, will activate abilities that they don't normally use. Like, I think in Final Fantasy IV, if you do it to a tiny mage, they'll cast Death. So, it can break out secret abilities that you wouldn't normally see. I can't think of any in this game off the top of my head, but they do have some. And this little sparkly is my save point. No, I'm going to give them info myself. Save points are where I can use tents, sleeping bags, and save my game. I'm going to use a tent here. Oh! Awesome feature, this. Every time a pony uses a tent, you see their cutie mark instead of a tent. I don't know if I'll actually have a CMC in the intro or in the lead to show you this, but all three of the Cutie Mark Crusaders in this game, when they use it, will have the Cutie Mark Crusader flag instead of a cutie mark. Well, it's not a flag, it's more of a cape. You know the symbol, the little pony. But Celestia's summon can be, again, broken in this game because normally summons only work once per battle. The way around that is if you have the secret character Go-Go use Mimic when somebody summons and then doesn't do anything else. That can be useful for Espers like Ragnarok that turn enemies into items if you miss the first time. But with Celestia, it gets especially broken because of an Esper who is a pain to get, named Golem. Golem is indispensable against the 8 dragons. You just flat out should not attempt them unless you have Celestia in your party and you have Golem. Because Golem will block physical attacks for a while. He has hit points of his own. You don't ever see them, but he does have them. And he will block until he hits a certain number of hit points, and some of those dragons hit hard enough to freaking one-shot you. And all the old tricks that used to work against them, like using float against the dirt dragon, for example, don't work anymore. Because he will slam you back on the ground and then punish you for it. So, on top of that, they've had their levels and everything else cranked up so they all hit much harder than they have any business hitting. Oops. So, being able to summon Golem more than once in a fight makes it so that you can actually survive the battles. So Celestia's summon will not be getting used very much now, and it won't be getting used very much when I have my Espers, because it's only in very rare occasions that you need to summon Espers. I can only think of 4 off the top of my head that I ever summoned. No. 6. Phoenix, if most of your party is dead, you summon Phoenix. Kieran, if you need a slow heal for your whole party, but that's replaced by Cure 4 in this game, which is a multi-target regen spell. Palador, if you need to get off the screen for a couple minutes, because he makes the whole party jump. Fenrir, if you need Image for another case where there's a lot of enemies, but he casts Image on everybody. Golem for, again, protection. And Phantom if you're fighting a physical enemy and you need physical protection because he casts Vanish on everybody. Other acceptable ones would be Ragnarok because you want to turn enemies into items like you want the imp items. And Seraphim or Starlet for a mild party cure. What was this guy's name? Banner, okay. Bruce? I don't see purple pants, but you are green. Ladies and gentlemen, the Incredible Hulk. And for some reason my cursor's on the fritz. I don't know. God, that was quick. Speaking of quick, this fight will be over very quickly. You know what? If it gives me time... Nope, it's not gonna. Oh wait, yes it will. If it gives me time, I'm gonna show off the Bolt spell, just because we haven't seen it yet. And I'm still going with Auto Crossbow because I think it hits harder than Apple Bloom's actual weapon. Here we go. Yes. Princess Caps Lock! Now, the way to beat this fight is to pull off Sabin / Luna's Pummel Blitz. Now, something I learned watching, I believe, Super Genius's blind LP of this, is that if you sit still long enough, it will actually tell you how to do the move, and I'm going to show that off right now. Assuming I don't actually hit hard enough to do this. It's entirely possible that I'm leveled high enough to kill him with just physical attacks, in which case I will, come on. Say it. Say it. Ow. You hit twice? That's not fair. One more. Here we go. I'm being ordered to use a special attack. That is awesome. Yeah, this is something I never saw in the original game because I played this game after a friend of mine, and I asked him how to use this, and he told me how. Now, when I get viewers, I may have some younger viewers who don't know about the time before memory cards. The Super Nintendo was a cartridge system, and if you rented games, which 90% of the games that I played were rentals or borrows, so you had other people's save files on the game. So a lot of this game was spoiled for me simply because I would rent this and end up in the World of Ruin, you know? So I had access to a lot of other people's specials and all that, so I already knew. That's how I knew. For example, I'd go to the Blitz, press A, nothing would happen. So I called up my friend, he's like, press left, right, left, A, you know? God, that is a lot of Sparkle Mane in one scene. Now, before I forget, let's take that ticker off that command, and that command, and that command. Because, let's face it, that's not something you could just hold down A to do. And if you look, Luna is level 14, which is partially because my party is leveled a bunch when I got in here. Quite a bit, in fact. Bloom gained 2 whole levels, Twilight and Celestia gained 1, and Luna's just freaking awesome. Oh, that reminds me. Let's see how many of these she starts with. Damn, she doesn't have the good one. Normally, at this point, I would have her first 4, so apparently I didn't grind up quite as high as I thought I did, because I thought I was a little over-leveled for this scene. Turns out I'm actually under-leveled for where I normally am. Now, Luna normally fights with claw weapons. It doesn't matter, because I've never really brought this up. But some characters fight with specific weapons, like most of them fight with swords and dirks. Luna fights exclusively with claws. They also changed something in this game with Fluttershy, so that in addition to Dirks and I believe Claws, she can also use Shurikens as weapons. Normally Shurikens are not equipable. Let's see here. Auto crossbow. Oh, for those of you who might want to do an LP with Fraps, I should warn you, Fraps is very, very hard drive grabby. Let's see, I've been playing this for, really? 45 minutes? Yeah, let's call it here. But this 45-minute file of mine that I'm making is probably going to be in the neighborhood of something like 20 gig before I shrink it down. But alright, that is Pony Fantasy VI, Episode 2. I will see you again for Episode 3, because, let's face it, this is my LP, no one else is going to host it for me. And until then, have fun. Bye-bye.